Outer Orange.
So someone's asking me for Orphist, so we're actually gonna go ahead and do that real quick because otherwise I'm just gonna forget and it's gonna suck. This is gonna be set 6 one or preset. So is this preset 6? They want the current one that I used yesterday to play. So we're gonna create one real quick for them. Right. I am really excited for a set 6 Orphist though, because low key, I'm probably just coping, but it straight up feels actually really nice. Like I really like it. I'm actually digging it. I actually think it's really good. I'm also finally gonna break and build this because I realized that actually I have most of the stuff already. All I'm missing is Eva and this card, so it actually won't take me too much to build the deck. And I actually have quite a bit of credit from everywhere, and I can use 50 cards and get him to get more shoutouts and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna build the deck out and we're gonna roll with it. Finding again to change the ride line grade to set 6 is good for the deck. Interesting. I am excited to see how Combine Rusher works with everything. So I'm really hype. Really hype. For honestly, Brankgate is looking really nice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired of Gravidia. I'm actually at the point where I might sell a good bit of it and just save up for Lyrical. Yeah, you can do that. It's great. It's a good alternative too. I wrote this card. I'm trying to remember like all the cards I wrote. I wish this was better. This is like okay right now. So you can Soul Blast it with Orphis and then get the straight. Oh, interesting. Okay, that makes sense. True, that's right. You do Soul Blast quite a bit, so you'll actually get there. And then we run this. Yeah, I'm kind of. It's gonna sound weird, but I'm kind of tired of Graffiti and Flag Break. As crazy as it sounds, but you know the decks haven't changed at all since pretty much set 3, set 4 era, and I'm kind of tired of it. So it would be really nice to actually take a break and play other decks for a change. And Orphist has been one of my babies. I love Orphist. Do you just want hamsters? Actually, let me switch this over to here on this side. I realized I'm not seeing chat very properly. There we go. Alright. Looking through this, trying to find all the cards I need. Actually, I could. No, I can't do that. I thought there'd be an easier way to do this. I need 2 of this. I do run this guy actually because I'm wild. 10 out of 10 wild sauce. Strangely enough, this card has been coming up a lot, and actually all for good reasons. This card has not been failing me at all. At first I put it in because I was like, oh, it'd be really nice to just have this like random retire, and I was like kind of iffy about it at first, but actually it's been doing really well. It hits over, and like it's actually not bad. It plays really well. I think it's better than the Restander guy. I know the Restander guy like gives more, but you never really generate that many tokens, so it's just kind of very mid. I mean, 2 of the Eclipsed here, but anyway, so the approach I went towards this deck was essentially. It's kind of like my deck has been kind of the same actually pretty much since since Rages has dropped. So we need this, we need some crits, we need some heal, we need to heal. So Restander guy just isn't worth it. Yeah, I just don't like Restander guy. I was never really a big fan of the card to begin with. At first I was like, oh, this kind of sounds decent, and then the more I started testing it, the more I was like, this card kind of mid. I think I run 3 of these. I'm about to go back and double check everything, but I'm just kind of throwing it all in right now. I feel like I'm missing cards. Am I missing cards? Let me look at this. Oh, I'm missing Bobo. I'm missing OT, and here's Bobo, by the way. And I have this a little bit more SP'd out than I have. It's funny, imagine putting a Shed Army token in your deck. You did like him pre-set 6? He was like okay. But he felt like more like a bad high roll than an actual good card. Let me just double check my ratios here, make sure I got sending this person the correct. But yeah, so I took this deck yesterday and I actually did really well with it, like better than I thought I was gonna do. We had 5 rounds. I lost 2 of them. However, the 2 I lost, I misplayed. So if I didn't misplay them, I actually probably would have gone undefeated. And with that being said, that's actually pretty good for a deck I haven't touched in a while. And yeah, I was like a little surprised, even in myself. I was like, damn, I actually didn't do bad. I will say I wasn't running these crits, these heals, but I would normally have ran them. I decided last minute to play the deck. Oh, we're missing Rotis or whatever his name is, the ride line guy. And we're missing the starter, and we're missing a trigger. Okay, cool. I know what we're missing. We have the 4 draw, so I need 1 more crit. Any crit. But yeah, I surprisingly enough, the deck performed really well. With the 2 games I lost, I did get OT'd, actually, but both situations I could have, if I played correctly, I think I would have won. So we need a starter. So let's go grab a starter. And then we need a the grade 2 guy. So here's the grade 2 guy and then starter. Okay, that should be the full deck. But in terms of choices, not so much, just clear upgrades. Yeah, it has like 3 extra cards to help. And remind me of why I didn't you face green on, remind me of why I didn't want to follow through with building it. Kind of boring. Does set 6 fix that? I think set 6 gives it more stuff to use for soul. But I think the deck plays exactly the same, actually. At least from what I read. Like, the cards I read, I was like, this looks like the same as what it was. It didn't feel like it changed too much. Okay, so here we have Orphe. We can look over the deck together, too. Did I really only run 9 orders? Really? How many orders I run? That's probably, yeah, it's probably correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I only run 9 orders. Hello, Eric. Okay, just making sure I got this correct. Do I have this correct? Am I blind? Like, sometimes I'm blind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. Yep, this is correct. I'm also hard debating getting a soul case of set 8 as well as the split with dogs. Oh, that would be a bad idea. I am probably just gonna stick to what I've been sticking to and just picking decks I like. It's just another jump scare stream. It is. I'm actually gonna be switching over to Canada real quick. I just remembered I want to give someone a Orpheus deck. So pretty much the way I play this deck, or the way my approach was, is to deck it as much as possible with Penguin. Use this as a way of shield and resource against the non-Gravidian matchups. Use this to pop stuff you don't want. A good example is actually Amelia. I faced a Nirvana player who early called Amelia just to make magic numbers, and then I just popped it, and then they couldn't do the double ride or whatever. So that was pretty great. And they were going second, so they were gonna like hard ride into 4 against me, so that was nice. And then I run this as a way to like self-retire the tokens to draw extra cards, but also like to negate any form of retire that opponents try to do. Bone Mine's just there for the counter charge recovery because this deck does still counterblast, not too much, but it still counterblast. Like sometimes people will deny you the tokens, so just having the little extra juices is pretty nice. I did last minute change one of the Bone Mines and made it a grade 2 retire guy. Originally I had this at 2 and this at 3, and I felt 3 was a little too high, and actually running this at 3 felt perfect. This card came up pretty much every single match I played. This card came up and it was all in use. Like, people try to rush me, cool, I'll retire a token, pop your thing. People try to call pieces they need, cool, I'll just retire a token, pop your thing. It actually came up very perfectly. Something I've always enjoyed about Orpheus is the fact that you can kind of play these funny cards. Like, there's the other card, I can't remember what it was, like a bird looking thing. It's another card that kind of forces your opponent to have to constantly retire their stuff and to kind of get rid of some stuff while also still applying pressure, because that's what's nice about these cards, that they attack and do stuff while also retiring. So very, very nice little cards. And then what else? And then counter heals are pretty good. So I'm running 2 in here. I didn't play the 2 when I was playing yesterday, just because I didn't have them on me. They're at home. But if I were to have the cards, I would have thrown these 2 in. That's why I'm throwing them in here. And then draws is very important. I would even argue that 5 draws is pretty good. I still like just the straight raw 15k shield, and that's the only reason I'm running this at 4 and not 5. Or like the 5th being like a random 5k draw. And these are okay in this deck. You don't really need them, so I'm actually only running them at 2. I think 5k power is still pretty OP, especially in Orpheus, in case you need like a back row. You'll usually never have a booster behind Vanguard, so in case you're trying to go for kill, you can put a crit trigger or a heal trigger behind Vanguard and make it a perfect number, because it'll usually be 18. If you put a 5k behind it, now it's 23. If it's 23, if you put a 5k behind it, now it's 28. If it happens to be somehow 28, then you put the 5k behind, now it's 33. So it always makes like really, really good numbers. It kind of fixes its own problem by pretty much making the Vanguard swing more lethal. So sometimes that's good. And then for the order thought process behind here, essentially this is your best card in the deck. You want to get to these as fast as possible. It makes just everything more lethal and just makes everything better. And then you still want to draw a little bit, so that's kind of what this is for. And in case you just need a couple tokens here and there, or for the turn 2 rush, this is a good approach. And the turn 2 rush actually is really good with this card, and this card, and of course the Shadow Army token. Sometimes even this early on will be good because the boost will be active on either or. So that's a 10k boost behind pretty much anything you put it under. You can turn 2 rush to 3 or 4 damage pretty easily. I usually make the Vanguard the smallest, make everything else the biggest, and the reason why is because if you hit OT under turn 2, it's usually GG. So if you have a full board, and you have like a token and Thumperino set up, and then a grade 2 and say a Boba Mine set up, and then your Vanguard is a 10k, but everything else is like 20 and above. You hit OT under that, you're pretty much killing them. They're not going to survive. So ideally, it's usually good to swing with Vanguard first in that situation. So I give the 5k that Rotis gives. Or not, sorry, QBC gives, usually to a token or to something. Not usually the token. If I have Thumperino, I'll usually give it to the grade 2 attacker. And if I don't have Thumperino, I'll give it to the token and just make everything super lethal. And you'd be surprised, it's definitely a way to win. You'll usually win just off of that. But of course, that's if you hit OT. Without OT, the pressure is still super high. You can still just aggressively push. Something else I noticed as I was playing the deck is revealing orders. So I'll usually try not to reveal this order unless I absolutely have to, because if I don't reveal this order, people think I'm playing Gravidia, which is really hilarious. I keep in mind I had a different starter. I actually had the Gravidia starter in here, if I remember correctly, when I was playing, and a lot of people just thought I was playing Gravidia for like a while, and they would just completely play differently, set up completely differently, and then just get annihilated when I ride Orphis instead. So that's kind of fun. So usually I'll play a little mind game with them and making them wonder what I'm playing, and that's pretty fun. So you can run the prison order. You can run the prison starter for the same reasons, but the thing with the prison starter is once you ride up to this, they'll kind of know. But when you run the Gravidia starter and you ride up to this and this, like up to the 2, as long as once you get to 2, they'll usually know you're playing Orphis. But before the 2, they actually won't know. they won't know for a bit. Like the minute you ride up to 2, like once they see this card, they know you're playing Orphis. But prior to this, run the Ava start. You could run the Ava starter, but the thing is, like, you really, because of this ride line, they think you're playing Gravidia. It's actually pretty funny. It's been peak. Just put the prison starter. You could do that. That's what JJ did, actually. JJ put the prison starter. People would like set up their hand thinking that they need to imprison something on grade 2, right? So that was another interesting thing. And I've actually been doing this for a while. When I topped with Orphist for a Kingslayer's event a while back, it was like a pretty big event. There was like 100 people there. Just for like per format, it was like really large, right? And for that one, I actually purposely played the prison starter, and so many people would set up their hand for the grade 2 imprisonment, and then they're like, wait, this isn't what I thought it is. When is the promo for Eva? I actually don't know. I don't remember where to look for that, but I know it should be coming soon. I'm actually curious myself. Promo. I don't honestly, to be fair with you, I don't know where to look for it, but let's see. This is the sneak preview. Click here to find out more. It's one of their links that they share. Oh, it's sorry, I'm just so excited for this. I'm so excited. This is so broken. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had a moment. It meant to be October, but delayed to November. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was coming out in November. But it should be. Oh, it should be in here somewhere. Somewhere in here. I thought it was. I wanted to say November, but I didn't want to say that and be wrong, so I just did. Same with Nani. Yeah, I'm so sad these are dropping a week later. I mean, sorry, a month later. But I can't wait. I can't wait for these. They're so good. They're so good. I can't wait. I literally have like my entire deck ready for this. Like I'm just the minute I get it, I'm just instantly throwing it in. My deck's ready. Like it's gonna be amazing. There is like a literal link that you could see that directly shows. Oh, by the way, this is coming. Oh, I can't wait for this. Although I don't even know if we need to play it anymore. I think this is a little late now at this point, but it might be in here actually. No, it's not. Of course it's not. Why would it be in here? Why would it be in here? Right, it should be. It's somewhere somewhere in the abyss of all this stuff. It's it. Why this got a reprint? I'm actually really excited for this. This is another good card. It might be run with the new grade 3, honestly, because when it's placed, you soul charge, and if it's Dark Knight, Abyssal Dark Knight, you soul charge again. And then if you're Abyssal Dark Knight, you can still retire her. It can call a token, essentially. So you can kind of, on your aggressive turns, you can just replenish this to the token, get the extra stacks of like 10, 15, or 20 off of the order. And they kind of go ballistic. And on top of that, guys, we got this new funny card. I read this card especially after playing yesterday. I read this card again. Because when I read it a while back, I was kind of like, yeah, it's okay. But reading it again, I'm like, wait a second, this card is actually kind of cracked. So if we look over, the only thing is room. Orphis has like a space issue, low key. It's similar to Zorga, where there's like a direct space issue. But if you play this card, you know, when this unit stacks, you get 2k for each world in your order zone. So essentially, it stacks pretty high. If you have like 4 or above, that's like 8k, and it just gets pretty massive, right? And then on when it's retired. On Rearguard Circle, when the student's retired on Rearguard Circle, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, you can call a token. So essentially, if I'm not mistaken, if I know the rulings correctly, you can swing with Orphis to discard a card to then call a token over this card, and then that because it got retired by something, you get to call another token, which is really massive because 1, you can set up columns this way. It gets you the extra attack, and 2, you get the buffs too off of the order. That makes sense. Okay, I figured I wasn't on crack because when I read it again, I was like, wait a second, you can call extra tokens. So essentially your board setup could be, even on your first grade 3 ride, you can actually have 5 attacks now. You call this card and whatever else on the other side, and then you swing with both of them. You swing with Orphis, and then you call the token off of Orphis skill over this grade 3, and then the grade 3 will proc and call another token on your side. So essentially, you have 5 attacks, and then on top of that, you can also, if you high roll into the grade 3 order, say you get 2 of them, both those tokens are getting 10k power. So now they're swinging for 25, and that's pretty freaking aggressive. It's pretty aggro. So I actually really like this. The only downside, it's like literally the only downside, is the fact that this is a grade 3. I think putting this in along with orders and everything else makes kind of the shield even less. And the other thing is I have no idea what to replace. So I replaced this for it. I don't know what to replace. But overall, it's a good card. I'm really excited. It's definitely going to add some more fun. I still think the restander just isn't worth it, in my opinion. I still think the restander is kind of meh. I might come back Boba Mine for it, to be honest, just because I really, really like this card, and I really, really like this card. And I might come back one of these for it, too. I'll have to see kind of where my ratios are going to go. Thumbreino is probably going to stay, because Thumbreino is just so freaking good. You can just call her in the back row and just set up for a token, and then you just board wipe yourself and just draw cards. It's freaking amazing, and then you're gonna get it all back next turn. But Thumbreino might actually become that soul charging girl too, so that might be a thing, or maybe Thumbreino will become, or maybe Bowmine will become that. I don't really know where to make the changes, but we'll see. Penguin might just have to go. I don't know. Penguin's good, but Penguin's also okay. Penguin's good for the constant order searching, but at the same time, that's all it's really doing. And it is a 5k shield that you're constantly ditching if you ditch for Orphis scale. The only time it's super superior is when you're ditching for Ride Line. But also Penguin, no. Penguin, I know. Penguin's good. Penguin's good and Penguin's bad. That's the thing with Penguin. And the other thing is Penguin early is good, but then you also still want to set up your drop and have the orders ready. Your biggest thing is honestly seeing Personas. Personas just really carry this deck. But yeah, we'll see. But anyway, let me send this over to the person that was asking that I totally forgot to send over to this. They were on Twitter. It was on my post. So let's get that over to them. So that way they have their stuff. There we go. See, I wrote in the morning I will. It's already not morning. Here you go. Yeah, helping the community.